The past 72 hours for specifically the Star Wars Hot Toys market has been incredibly interesting to watch unfold. This is Economist. Time for another market watch. Let's jump right into it. Oh, and just as a disclaimer, if you guys have not finished season 2 of The Mandalorian, I would not watch this market watch video. Finish that and then come back to this, because some of the things I'm going to talk about in this market watch video will spoil the show. So this is your spoiler warning. If you have not seen and finished the season 2 of The Mandalorian, do not watch this market watch. Come back and watch later. All right, let's jump right into it. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome to another video. This is Economist. In today's video, we're doing, once again, another market watch, taking a look at what's going on in the Hot Toys market. Specifically today, we are focusing on the Star Wars market, with Disney announcing what feels like 57 new shows over the past 2 weeks. There are a lot of things that are unfolding. The Mandalorian Season 2 has wrapped up, and there's some super interesting thing going on with a couple of figures, and we're going to jump right into it. First one, Mythos Boba Fett. Now, this actually isn't a Hot Toys piece. This is a sideshow piece, but I thought this one was really interesting, and I wanted to highlight it. Remember, at least for me, when I'm looking at Hot Toys markets, there are really 3 ways that you can get a good indication on what the price is in the secondary market of a figure. It's never what figures are listed for. Always ignore whatever it's listed for. It's 3 things. It's if there is an open bid and there's multiple bids on it, where does that bidding finish? That's the first great indicator. Second, obviously, sold listings. And then third, if something is listed, but it has like over 15 watchers on the item, that means that it's probably something that's fairly priced. And usually, from my experience in selling a lot of things on eBay, usually once I get to about 15 watchers, that means it's probably going to sell soon. So the first we're going to look at is this Mythos Boba Fett right here. This auction is ending in 16 hours, and it's already at $388. That is very high for this piece. You know, for a while, this piece has sat in stock for a while at retail. Recently, Sideshow has it back up for pre-order again. I believe it's coming out in a year, but you know, a lot of people just can't wait. So that's why this auction is going up. Obviously, this is from The Mandalorian. This Mythos look is very similar to the look that Boba Fett had in the show. Oh, wow, actually a lot sooner than that. It's actually 3 to 6 months that this figure is coming out. So it's crazy that people are paying up. If you are looking to pick up this figure, please do not buy this in the secondary market. Please wait for this Sideshow one if you want to pick it up. But I would even go further as to say is I would not even pick up this Sideshow piece, because I mean, there is a very, 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 very high chance, I would say basically 100% chance, we are going to be getting Hot Toys from Boba Fett from The Mandalorian. That's going to be a superior piece to this one. But yes, $388. You know, that's a solid, call it $100 increase probably over the past week for this figure. So really impressive rise in this one. Second one, again, these do have spoilers in it. Luke, obviously, in the last episode of The Mandalorian Season 2, we did see Luke. This guy, you know, within hours of that episode coming out, this guy basically went from, you know, the standard version went from, call it $270 in secondary market to closer to $350, $375 in secondary market. Similar situation for the deluxe one. This is an impressive move. This one right here is listed at $500, and it's having 31 viewers per hour, 14 watchers. That's why I wanted to highlight this listing. 14 watchers, $500, incredible. This one right here, selling at $465 for a brand new Luke Skywalker Deluxe. This guy sat like basically at retail for the better part of a year. You could pick this guy up brand new for $300 in the secondary market all day. After this episode comes out, $465. This one right here, a brand new Luke that sold obviously December 19th, which is, you know, 2 days after the Mandalorian episode come out, or maybe 3 days. $470 for a brand new Luke. This Luke is also not a great Luke. This is the non-deluxe Luke that has the fat suit. Just really not that great of a figure. You can pick him up all day, $270. You know, call it 3 months ago. So $470 now selling purely because of the Mandalorian. It just shows, it's really crazy. It actually blew my mind. I did not expect that much of a rise to happen in these Lukes just from the episode, but it just goes to show like the absolute how good this season was in The Mandalorian, how many probably newer fans or fans who are, you know, rekindling their spirit with Star Wars, and they watch that episode and they go, bang, I need to go get a Mythos Boba Fett, I need to go get a Boba Fett, I need to go get my Luke. And that's why you're seeing such a rise in this figure. So $470, I mean, this is an exceptional move. in this figure in the secondary market. Here's another one right here, selling for sold for $450, opened. Again, 2 days ago as a result of this Mandalorian season recap. So if you have, I cannot emphasize this enough, if you have this Luke in your collection, either of these Lukes, and you're not totally in love with it, and you'd be willing to part ways with it, I would sell it now. Sell it into this hype. I don't know how long this hype will last for, but I can't imagine prices actually go that much higher. I know some of you might be thinking you have your Luke and you might want to hold on to a little bit of it. Maybe it goes up a little bit more in juice. And you can take your profits and reinvest it into a new hot toy that you want in your collection. But a lot of what's happening right now is just pure market hype. A lot of people are buying because they're scared maybe that it might just continue to go up even further. If I were you, I wouldn't get greedy. If you bought it at retail, I never got this figure, but if I had it at retail, I would definitely sell into this market hype, especially because this figure has crazy reissue risk. Hot Toys any week now could announce a Hot Toys Mandalorian version of Luke, which will probably be a much more demanded figure than this one, because a lot of these Lukes also are not perfect. So you have reissue risk, and this figure has gone up, 75% in 72 hours. This is something that you sell if you're not married to it and you're not in love with it. Here's another one, Mythos Boba Fett. This one is on open bid right now. Oh, I showed this one actually originally. 16 hours, yeah, you guys saw. 15 bids, $388. Here's a Mythos Boba Fett right here, selling for $360. Remember, this figure, you can still pre-order it. 3 to 6 months, $250 retail. Shows the power of the demand for this piece. See that right there. Continuing, Boba Fett Empire Strikes Back. So what's interesting is, so we talked about the sideshow Boba Fett. The Hot Toys Boba Fett are also having very interesting rises. So the Empire Strikes Back one obviously has not increased that much in the secondary market. Why? Well, it's available for pre-order. You can get the 40th anniversary one, and it's going to be coming in a couple of months. So obviously don't go and pick up this one. Because you can still get the Empire Strikes Back one if you want to get your Boba Fett fix. Although I still think that we are going to get a Mandalorian version of Boba Fett that I'm definitely going to be pre-ordering once it gets announced. But you're seeing a reasonable rise in this one. But the really interesting one is this one. This guy is flying. Why? Well, this Boba Fett is like, I imagine it's just like closer in the idea of what we saw in The Mandalorian. Obviously, this is the deluxe set for $260. Comes with the Sarlacc pit. It more closely resembles the Boba Fett look, like, the scuffed up helmet, I guess. Kind of the more dirtier look that we saw in The Mandalorian for Boba Fett. But this figure, at one point, I want to say 9 months ago, I created a spreadsheet of every single Star Wars hot toy, and that doesn't include sequels. And this was one of only 2 hot toys from Star Wars that were going for less in the secondary market than they retailed for, not including sequel figures. It was this figure, and it was Darth Vader, A New Hope. And now, this Boba Fett sold today, 11 bids, $430. 6 months ago, if you post this guy in a Facebook group for $275, he will sit. I actually specifically remember someone in the Facebook group trying to sell their Return of the Jedi Boba Fett for so long under retail and could not sell it. $430 is incredible for this piece. I'm not sure. I feel like this is more of an outlier. It's $675. It probably doesn't reflect the true value of this one, but bang, $415. Like, this is a very material move for this figure. So I was really surprised to see that one. And if it wasn't for the 40th anniversary of Boba Fett getting re-released, I would imagine we would have saw something similar to with the Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett. But this Return of the Jedi Boba Fett is insane. So really good for anybody that has that Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. Again, if you have this Boba Fett, I would probably sell it. I would sell it, and I would get ready for the Hot Toys announcement of the Mythos of the Mandalorian Boba Fett. With that being said, when that new Boba Fett figure gets announced, these things are coming out for so long, like 2 years. You're gonna have to wait. It's not like as soon as it gets announced, like this guy's gonna crash again or anything crazy like that. But that just means that as soon as it comes out, it's probably gonna come back like maybe 20%, 15% as the demand dies down for people that decide what, I'm not gonna pick up this guy. I'm gonna go pick up the brand new one that just got announced. And then slowly inch lower as it gets closer to the release date. The best historical example of this is Darth Vader from Empire Strikes Back. Darth Vader Empire Strikes Back Retail for $265, peaked at like $500 in the secondary market when they announced the 40th anniversary release. Slowly came down in secondary market price. Yeah, pretty quickly at first, and then slowly came down, and basically ended up being about $350 in the secondary market, which is what happens with these figures, and I imagine it's going to happen with Luke, Boba Fett, all these figures that are getting hyped up right now. Next one I want to talk about, not related to Mandalorian, K2SO. This is just related to the new show that got announced. Obviously, we know Andor is coming, and we've known this for a while that it's going to be coming. I know it was like tossed up in the air if it was going to be official or not. Now that it is official, you still have a while to think about this, so I'm not saying anybody needs to go rush and sell their K2SOs, but I would make sure to keep this K2SO if you own it in the back of your mind. It's still selling basically at the highs of where he always sells, $550 to $650 in the secondary market, $600 here, $520 here, $719 here. Call it $600 mid is where this guy sells in the secondary market. If you have the K2SO and you want to go and, you know, allocate some funds to new Hot Toys, I'd probably look to sell this guy at some point in the coming months. Once we get the Andor show, obviously K2SO is going to be in it, and obviously that means that we're probably going to get a reissue of K2SO at some point in the future, albeit probably pretty far in the future, but it's just something to keep your eye on. And then last two I want to talk about. First one, Remnant Trooper. We talked about this in the last market watch. Continuing to rise. 5 days left on this auction, $258. Pretty impressive for this one. I imagine this auction could easily sell probably 310-ish, 320-ish. This guy is just continuing to rise. Really surprising me. I didn't expect this one. Obviously, I don't get them all right, and nobody can. And I'm just, like, based off of my logic, I didn't think this guy was going to do that great. But again, it was the lack of supply with this one. Only having one batch coming from Asia was really supportive for this figure in the secondary market. So another one just interesting just to keep your eye on. And the last one, Shore Trooper. It's continuing to hold steady at its price of around 600, you know, 575 to 650 in the secondary market. But keep in mind, we did see him in The Mandalorian. In Chapter 7, it's very quick, in Chapter 15 of Season 7, he's right here. In this scene, we got our Shore Trooper. Somebody else pointed this out. The Mandalorian Death Watch figure, the Hot Toys Mandalorian Death Watch figure, was in the show for 11 seconds, and we got a Hot Toy. Having him in this one scene, not out of the question that we get this figure as a reissue. If I were you, I would maybe try to look to sell this Shore Trooper if you have it. Bang it at the highs. You're selling it at the highs. It's continued to stay here, and you're almost like hedging your risk a little bit. You know, I wouldn't say go crazy and sell it on eBay, because then you're gonna be paying shipping, you're paying fees. But like, look, if you know somebody in the Facebook group that's looking for a Shore Trooper and is willing to pay what it's going for in the secondary market, you definitely have some reissue risk on this guy. If they release him, he's probably just gonna be a reissue. And if he's going to be a reissue, that means he's going to come out quickly, which is an important catalyst for this figure in the secondary market. If they announce this guy and they're like, hey, this guy's coming out in like 5 months, kind of what we saw with Vintage Boba Fett, because Vintage Boba Fett was just a repaint. This guy will quickly drop in the secondary market. I mean, quickly. And this guy could easily go back to being a $300 figure in the secondary market. And once, if this new Shore Trooper just comes out, he's going to be trading at retail, because who's going to go pay more in the secondary market for a Shore Trooper when they just buy brand new at retail? Now, this one is very, very preliminary. I would say it's more likely that we don't get a reissue because of, you know, he was just in one scene. But if we do, this guy is obviously going to tank, so it's something to keep your eye on. Think about it. If you have the Shore Trooper and you're not married to it, it's an important thing to keep your eye out for. But that's going to wrap up today's Market Watch. I thought this was a super interesting market watch. I love doing these, and I love when the market is moving. It gives us a lot more interesting things to look at and talk about. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. Leave a comment section down below. What are you guys thinking about the market? Have you guys been noticing any trends that maybe I missed? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, this is 6 Economist. Buy the dip, sell the rip. This is the way. We will see you in the next video.